Hey guys, my name's Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Lenovo ThinkPad T460s. I'm going to take you on a teardown or disassembly tour, show you how to get inside and the various components you can access once you're in. Before getting going, remember the video description below. I do answer all comments at least twice a day, but I also try to keep the frequently asked questions updated as time goes on. That may be able to save you some time waiting for an answer if you need one. I'll also have a section in the description on related links that should help you out with some other things that may be useful in your computer use. Okay, so to start the procedure, power down your computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from the charger. We're then going to flip it over to access your bottom case screws. Okay, so I have these 3 screws up top, these 2 screws here, and that's your keyboard screw. That's a switch that releases your keyboard if that's all you're after. So I'm going to go across and take all these screws out. Okay, so all my screws are unscrewed. However, they do have washers inside of them that hold them in place, so you're not going to get them completely out. And I've set my keyboard screw to open. And now the bottom case is released. So I'm going to take my small flathead pry tool, go across the seam, and pop this bottom case off. Now this has been taken off once before, so you may have a harder time than that, but it does come off fairly easily. There's nothing attached to the bottom case, it's just the panel. After removing your bottom case, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, I have it sitting on this anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you guys need any help with tools or supplies for your computer project, as well as any of these replacement or upgrade parts for this specific model computer, there'll be a link above, also below in the description, and I will have a list of all the tools and supplies, again, as well as the replacement and upgrade parts for this model in that one list. In this computer, we have 2 batteries. The main computer battery screws in there and there, plugs into the motherboard right here, underneath this tape. So I'm going to go ahead and take out those screws. And then it's held down underneath these 2 clips right there. So I'm going to pop this up out of that port and then slide it out from under those 2 clips, and there's your battery. If you wanted the battery specs, I will have them below in the description. This is a Lenovo brand name battery. 11.4 volt, 24 watt hour. And again, I will have the part number and those specs below in the description. I'll also have a replacement battery included in that link below that I told you about with all the replacement parts. This battery is very similar. It's held in by these 2 clips there, these 2 screws here, and it plugs into the motherboard there, similar to that one. So I'll go ahead and I'll take these screws out. And then I'll lift it up from this plug and slide it out from those clips. And I'll have this replacement battery specs below in the description as well. Last shout out with this type of operation, if you're here because your computer's not powering on, if it's dead, showing very little or no signs of life, and you're trying to troubleshoot that, it is possible your battery's bad and needs to be replaced. However, in most cases, even with a bad battery, a computer should still turn on and work with the charger plugged in. So if you're not seeing that, there may be something else other than just a bad battery. There will be a video link above, also below in the description, showing you how to troubleshoot a dead laptop computer to find out why it's not turning on. To get at your solid state drive, that is right here, it's held down by a single screw there and plugs into the motherboard here. So I'll go ahead and I'll remove that single screw. Once that screw is removed, you can take your small flat plastic pry tool, pop that up a little bit, and slide it out of that port right there. That's your solid state drive. I will have the solid state drive specs below in the description. This is a 500 gigabyte, so I will also include some upgrade options below in that link I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts for this model. And I guess the last side note about this type of repair, if you are replacing your old solid state drive to put a new one in, there's no operating system on that new one in most cases, unless you've cloned it from the old one. So most times you will have to install a new operating system onto this solid state drive. I will have 2 links below in the description. One will show you how to install Windows 10. One will show you how to install Windows 11 for after this install. Access your RAM is right here. And the way that RAM works, there's 2 spring-loaded metal arms on either side. The way to release your RAM is to gently pry those apart from each other, away from the RAM stick, and the RAM stick will release. Oftentimes it'll even pop up a little like that, and then you can just grab it and slide it out. To get the RAM back in, you'll notice there's a long side to the RAM port and a short side. So you can't plug that in upside down. You can only get it in one way, the correct way. So you put it in there, you make sure it's flush and even, make sure that gold strip is nice and even, and then you just press down and it secures in place with those metal arms. I will have the RAM specs below in the description. I'll also have some RAM upgrade options in the description as well, in that link I told you about with all the replacement parts. Your Wi-Fi card is right here. It's held in by a single screw there, plugs into the motherboard here, and the antenna wire snap on in that corner, the black and the gray wire, those are just snaps. So those snap directly up and off of that Wi-Fi card. I'll use my small flat plastic pry tool and just snap that one off, snap that one off. Now, the way to get these back on, it may be a little frustrating. They do have to be at an exact 90-degree angle over that snap, and then you just push on it and it'll snap into place. You can damage them if it's not at the right angle and you try to force it to snap down. You can damage these, so be careful. It may be a little frustrating if you're not used to it, but they do snap back down. Then I'll just go ahead and remove this single screw. And the Wi-Fi card pops up a little bit and you can slide it out of the port like that. I will have the Wi-Fi card specs below in the description. I will also have some replacement options in that link I told you about with all the replacement parts. One last thing to shout out about this kind of repair: if you are having Wi-Fi issues in your computer, if it can't find any network, it is possible that your Wi-Fi card is bad and needs to be replaced. However, it could be something else. It could be a software issue, a driver issue. If you want to troubleshoot why your Wi-Fi is not working, I'll have a video link above, also below in the description, showing you how to troubleshoot a laptop that can't find Wi-Fi, because again, it may not actually be your Wi-Fi card. Here are your speakers. You got this speaker here, 3 screws in it. This speaker here, also 3 screws. The speakers connect together with these blue and white wires that go down here along this end, and then they plug into the motherboard right here. So as you can see on your plug, there's a grip on either side of that plug. Don't pull on the wires, but use your fingernails or a pry tool to pull that out of that port if you're replacing your speakers. Also, make sure that if you are replacing your speakers, make sure you take a picture. Make sure you know how this wire runs through here exactly, because when you put down your new speaker wires, if it's not in there exactly, you could pinch them when you put your bottom case back on, and then you could damage your speaker wires. So make sure they're run exactly like that through there. I'll try to have some speaker replacements below in the description in that link I told you about with all the replacement parts. And I guess the last thing to shout out about a speaker repair: if you are having sound issues, if it's working sometimes and not other times, if the sound volume's low, it may not be that your speakers have to be replaced. It could be something else, a software issue, a driver issue. If it sounds awful, like a blown speaker all the time, then yes, it is your speakers, you need to replace it. But if you think it may be something else and you want to troubleshoot that before opening your computer and doing a replacement, I'll have a video link above. Also below in the description, it'll be a tutorial showing you how to update all your drivers and your software, make sure all that is current and accurate with what you have in your computer, so you can rule that out before attempting a replacement like this. Your CMOS battery is right here, underneath that main battery. It's held down by double-sided tape, so if you want to replace this, you can just pop that right up. That'll just come straight off. It's only double-sided tape, and it plugs into the motherboard right there. Now there's a grip on either side of that plug right there. If your fingers are small enough, you can get a fingernail into each side and pull it out. I need to use a pry tool on one side and a fingernail on the other. And then it just snaps right out like that. Now, if you're here to reset your BIOS system settings, you would unplug it, leave it unplugged for 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds, and that should be sufficient to reset your BIOS system if your other batteries have already been removed. But that's how you would reset BIOS. I'll have some more BIOS reset information below in the description. And just to note, guys, this operation will only reset your BIOS system settings. It will not reset your BIOS password in most cases. But I'll have more information below in the description. I'll also include a replacement battery below in the link I told you about with all the replacement parts for this computer. So this is your fan here and your heatsink assembly that runs over your CPU over to this vent. The fan plugs into the motherboard right there, and the heatsink screws down with these 4 screws here. So I'll go ahead and I'll take this fan out. When you unplug that, make sure you're not pulling on the wires. These fan wires are very, very fragile in most computers, so you could damage it. Put your fingernails or a pry tool on either side of that plug and just pull that out like that, and then your fan wire will come out. I'll go ahead and remove these 4 screws here over the CPU. That released that whole assembly, so that can come up now. And that's what you're looking at for your fan and your heatsink assembly. I will try to have a replacement fan heatsink assembly below in the description in that link I told you about with all the replacement parts. Another good thing to know, if you are taking this up, you do need to reapply thermal paste. Once air gets in here, that does need to be cleaned off and reapplied, so I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm going to be using a 70% isopropyl alcohol mixture and a rag. I'm just going to clean it off of the heatsink, clean it off of the CPU. As you notice there, I used a little small flat pry tool in my rag to kind of get it out of those grooves right there in the corner. You want to get as much of that up, all of it, as possible. Now that I'm ready to reapply my thermal paste, I'm going to put just a little bit down. You don't want to put too much. I'll put a little bit over here. A little bit over here. So that's as much thermal paste as you need, guys. If you put too much thermal paste on, it could actually have a reverse effect. It could lock the heat in rather than facilitate its transport out of your computer. So don't put too much thermal paste on. Below in the description, in the link with all the tools and replacement parts, I'll have some thermal paste options. You have some cheap stuff, some expensive stuff. You get what you pay for. You just go ahead and put this in there and just give it a nice press. There we go. And that's how you would reapply thermal paste to your heatsink. So that's the procedure. Please remember to like and share if it was helpful, if you think it could be helpful for someone else. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy DIY computer content, or if you just want me on hand to answer your computer related questions. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.